Okay, so bit of backstory to this. When this happened, I was around 13 years old, and I lived in one of the country's biggest trailer parks. I had just moved there because my parents had just divorced and he got the house. It was my mother and my younger brother, who was 10 at the time. We lived on top of the hill where the original park started, and there was a community parking pool that the landlord had built for all the kids and families in the trailer park. Now that you know where the house was located, let me jump into the story. I was in 7th grade, maybe 8th grade, and I went to the local public middle school. My brother and I rode the school bus home every afternoon, and they always had the middle schoolers and high schoolers jam-packed together on this already stuffy bus. It always smelled like very bad BO and pot. After a few months of the same routine, I ended up joining the track team, which required me to get off at the high school, and my brother finished the ride home alone. The middle school track runners and the high schoolers would always run the cross-country field together. Then they'd split to their own activities. I noticed the first practice I went to, we were all huddled up in the common area of the high school. To shine some light on our surroundings, there was this huge trophy case in the middle of the room, about 8 to 9 feet tall, and toppling over with trophies inside. There were benches completely around it, and on all sides there were long hallways leading to classrooms. As soon as you walk through the front door of the school, the office is to the right, and there was always this real lanky fellow that stood at the corner of the office. He rode my bus and lived on the next mountain over from my park, but I never spoke to him. Over the course of a few practices, he stood there and watched me every time. He kinda creeped me out some, but I thought maybe he was shy. So the next time I rode the bus home, I tried to sit with him. I don't much remember the conversation, but we clicked, and I found out that he had a huge crush on me, and he was just super shy, which was what I thought was going on. It made my uneasy feeling go away, but I still had caution flags going off. He just didn't act right. But then again, it could be that he had anxiety or something. So I shrugged it off and made a new friendship. Months went by and we had bus conversations. He came to my track meets, walked me to school from the bus when I had practice. So of course, when I got my first cell phone, he was the one person that I immediately gave it to. We sort of became best friends. While all this was taking place, in the background, I was staying in trouble at home. Of course, I'm a hormonal teenage girl, new to the area and acted out because of my parents' divorce. So when my mother started dating and men came over with her, I would get worse with the outbreaks. There were times I would sneak out of the bedroom window and walk down the mountain to the park and swing. It would be anywhere from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. I would do this. Eventually my mom caught on and grounded me. Well, she took my phone and I had no way of telling my new friend, we'll call him John, that I was grounded and I couldn't speak to him. After hanging out with John a lot, I found some information on him. He's about 6'3", 150 pounds, 18 years old and lives with his single father in a trailer. It was kind of odd our age difference, but I didn't care, he was a good friend. My mother didn't much like me hanging around him, but I thought it was just the typical mother saying, he's too old for you to be around. After my mother grounded me and took my phone, me and John had come up with a plan later, when I saw him the next practice, that he was going to sneak over and hang out with me while my mother and her boyfriend, my now stepfather, was out. Skipping things that don't matter, like how he got in and such, he came over. All went well, nothing happened, we watched some TV and took a nap. My mom and now stepfather came home early and I ended up sneaking him back through the way he came out. No one ever knew. It was just my secret and my neighbor's. He caught on, but he swore not to tell. Now things got creepy real fast. So John knew my parents had my cell phone and I was grounded. So I had no access to it. I didn't even know it was charged. He started texting my phone. I heard it going off in my parents' room. My mother sounding disgusted when she checked it. I was going through every scenario in my head, thinking of what my mother found in those texts. Dirty pics, cursing, plans on sneaking out from friends, anything. She called me to her room and when I got there, I read some texts. They were from John, telling my parents that he wasn't a bad guy, to let me have my phone back or else it wouldn't be pretty. They couldn't keep us apart. I, of course, was terrified and said I had nothing to do with it. So I asked if I can use the phone and call him and tell him to leave me alone. And they were hesitant, but agreed. I called and he answered, and I told him I didn't think it was smart for us to hang out anymore on account of his age. Me being in middle school and my parents weren't comfortable with it. He said he understood and we hung up. Then came the rapid text from John's number to my phone. They were addressed to my parents and they read as followed.
I know it was you who put her up to this. You can't keep us apart. I'm going to come in while you are sleeping and take her. We are going to run away and be happy forever.
My mother then responded and said if he didn't stop, she was going to call the police and file a complaint. And that seemed to make him even more mad, being told he couldn't have me and cops would be involved. But the text stopped after a few angry ones about cops. I thought my mother had scared him off. We then got me a new phone with a new number the next day. And all was well. I didn't go to track practice. My family thought it wasn't safe that day. And I rode the bus home with my brother. My parents got off at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., so just a few hours after school, and it wasn't dark out when they got home either. Me and my brother were watching TV and putting a TV dinner in the microwave for lunch when there was a bunch of banging on the doors. All the doors, the front, back, even the windows in the house, like someone's trying to scare us. It sounded like 10 or more people were outside running around my house just banging on the trailer and making weed noises. I called my mom and stepfather and they immediately rushed home. And when they got to the front door, my mother yelled at me, "Come to the porch." I opened the door and what I saw, I think scared me the most. My underwear just hanging on the screen door on the chain that was connected to the house, just black and pink just hanging there, with a sticky note that had a smiley face on it. So we called the cop and gave a statement and we went out with our business. And that night at dinner, my phone started going off again. My new one. It was John, and I hadn't given him my new number. He was threatening my parents again, told them that they couldn't keep us apart, that we loved each other. We were going to be happy no matter what. Then the last text came.
I'm going to tie you and your scumbag boyfriend to your bed. Make sure you're holding hands. Pour gasoline on you and make your daughter watch while I burn the only reason we can't be together in front of her.
When the phone went silent, we called the police and we went to his house. He wasn't there. It looked like no one had lived there for years, but I always saw him get off at the bus there. The police took our statement and took the phone, and that was all. I went to school normally after that. We moved a few times, still within the district, but I never saw him after school. It wasn't started college that I saw him again. He was in my psych class, and he was my lab partner for the biology. It was like he had the same schedule as me. So I dropped out of that college and went to a different one. But I have told some friends what happened, and they informed me what happened to him after that night. Apparently the night we called the cops, he split to his aunts in NC and didn't come back until 2 weeks later. He was at school, but I guess avoiding me. One day at school hours, the band teacher put her hand under the desk and felt something taped to the underside. It was a 5-inch switchblade knife and a sticky note with a smiley on it. The principal checked the cameras in the school and saw only one person go in and out of the band room, and that was John, through the side door that was left open. They called the cops and he was banned from the premises. I haven't really heard anything about him since though. John, let's not meet again. Hey guys, McNuke here. If y'all really like that kind of narrator stories and y'all like the spooky stuff, hit that like button. It'll tell me if y'all want me to do more of those. I'm really hoping y'all like this. It's a little late right now. I might come out late, but for people who are watching later on, maybe for the next day or something, tell me how y'all think it was, and I'll make sure to do more of these. Make sure to leave a comment if you really, really, really love to see these, and I'll make sure to do a lot more. I mean, y'all can even submit any of y'all stories from Reddit, and I'll go ahead and do them for you. Or just email me directly over there on nuketown77500@gmail.com. So I'll be doing those for y'all guys, and I hope y'all are having a good day. So thank you for watching. Hope y'all liked it, and till the next video, guys.